What's good, y'all? It's your boy HB without a rap. I want to talk about Tyson Fury. Did he cheat? You know, we're hearing a lot of voices right now talk a lot of shit because Tyson Fury postponed the fight. Supposedly he has COVID. I don't know what the fuck he has, but I don't know why everybody's acting all extra. You know, I know, especially there's a part of the black community that believes that Tyson Fury cheated. You know, I don't know why we had to depict this fight between these two good fighters as black versus white. You know, at the end of the day, when I'm watching boxing, I don't care about race, I don't care about gender, I don't care about sexuality, nationality, religion. I just appreciate two motherfucking good fighters scrapping it out. That's all I care about. And displaying boxing technique and skills. But unfortunately, that's the way a lot of people are viewing this fight. And because it's somewhat of viewed through the lens of race, obviously the black community is very salty about Tyson Fury winning. And, you know, the funny thing is I am African American, so, you know, it's not like I'm talking out of turn here, but I'm just not buying that Tyson Fury cheated. First off, I have no idea whether those gloves, the picture of the gloves that show like an indent in them, are photoshopped or edited. And even if they were, dude, that indent can be for many reasons. To sit there and speculate and say it was cheating, I mean, that's a little far-fetched. I'm not saying that Tyson Fury isn't a wily veteran, but if you're going to talk shit about Tyson Fury and having some dirty tactics from time to time, what about Bernard Hopkins? What about Floyd Mayweather? You know, these guys are very wily, and even Andre Ward. You know, I love Andre Ward. Andre Ward's one of my favorite fighters, but he is a very slick, you know, a good veteran boxer knows how to get away with some nasty, dirty techniques every once in a while. It doesn't mean they rely on it or they cheat, take steroids, or, you know, load their gloves like Margarito, right? But if you're truly a good veteran, you're gonna have some tactics that you use that are kind of sketchy, but that's part of the game, you know. And not necessarily to cheat, but maybe it's to get even, maybe it's to survive after getting stunned, for many reasons. I don't encourage it. I'm just saying that's part of the game. And if we're gonna sit there and be critical of Tyson Fury, then we should be critical of all the other black fighters who do the same things, same kind of wily veteran moves to gain an edge in a fight. But here's the thing, man. Nobody questioned that first fight. Let's start there. Nobody questioned that first fight with Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. And you can make an argument that Deontay Wilder pretty much lost that fight. The only reason it was a draw was because he knocked him down multiple times throughout that first fight. It's hard to give the fight to somebody when they've been knocked down multiple times. So I get the draw. I think that was a fair call. But for the most part of that fight, Tyson Fury was outboxing Deontay Wilder. Even the 12th round where he gets fucking floored and he gets up like the fucking Undertaker and raises from the grave, he fucking outboxes Deontay Wilder for the rest of the round. You know, I don't know why people are so shocked that he lost the second fight and they can't believe it. That's why I know a lot of people are viewing this through the lens of race. You know, they want to support their guy. You know, they want to support their guy. They want to be behind him. They want to believe what he's saying. And here's another thing to note. I would consider what Deontay Wilder was saying about cheating in the gloves if he wasn't coming out with some other far-fetched bullshit, like his trainer was trying to spike his drink. Dude, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why would Mark Breland spike your drink? What is he going to get out of his best fighter in his stable that he gets paid well? What is he going to get out of spiking him? what, ruin his fucking career, ruin his cash cow and Deontay Wilder? What sense does that make? Deontay Wilder, uh, now you ruin his reputation, Mark Breland's reputation possibly, or tarnish it as a trainer. And the dude's trying to make a living. And on top of that, he was relying on Deontay Wilder probably for most of his income. So why would you want to ruin that? And why would you want to ruin your business? I'm not saying it's not possible. Maybe there's some really fucked up shit going on, but it's ridiculous. It's far-fetched. Then the whole excuses with the costume he came into the ring. Then he even threw out, rumors about voodoo. Tyson Fury was doing voodoo, gypsy craft on him, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, I would give him a little bit of, I would listen to him more about the gloves being loaded or, altered or whatever the case may be, if he wasn't making so many ridiculous excuses. And now he's made so many ridiculous utterances. It's just like, how can I even take this dude seriously about the gloves being altered? Like I said, I seen pictures of the gloves kind of being indented, but man, I don't know if that's edited, and I don't know the circumstances of the situation, what kind of gloves he was wearing, and I don't know. There's so many factors that I would have to take into consideration to know what the fuck was going on. And I just find it hard to believe that, I have no idea if anybody watched him tape his hands, or if, anybody, the gloves were kind of monitored. I have no idea. But all I know is nobody complained about cheating in the first fight, and Tyson Fury pretty much won the first fight. So why is it so hard to believe that Tyson Fury, being the better boxer and having the better mind in terms of the fight game, why is it so hard to believe that he didn't figure out Deontay Wilder and pretty much get his number? Because Tyson Fury is one of those great boxers like Floyd Mayweather. If you rematch him, you're fucked. You're fucked. He's figured you out. He has you downloaded. He has you calculated. He knows your strengths. He knows your weaknesses. And you take a second fight with him, it's going to be worse. You're not going to do better. Because that's how high IQ'd he is. And he made the observation, like, hey, if I back this dude up, he can't fight off his back foot. Like, why should I back up? I'm the bigger man. Like, think about the game plan he implemented. I'm going to go to Sugar Hill. I'm going to develop my power. I'm going to put on a pressure style. I'm going to cut off the ring. Go down to the body. I'm going to feint him. I'm going to establish my jab. I'm going to throw combinations. I'm going to be in his face. I'm going to put pressure on him. And I'm going to wear him down. Every time he gets in the clinch with me, I'm going to put all my body weight on him. Like, all that, like, you can see it in the fight. It's as clear as day. You can give him fucking 18-ounce gloves. The same motherfucking thing would have happened, y'all. Okay? The same thing. Go watch the fight. If you know what you're watching, if you know boxing, if you know the sweet science, go watch that fight and tell me Deontay Wilder didn't get outboxed. Tell me. Tell me he didn't get outboxed. He couldn't handle the fucking pressure. And here's a few things to note right here. Deontay Wilder, he was fatigued because he came in heavier, for one. He came in at a weight he was not used to, okay? I mean, think about it this way. First, let's say this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Deontay Wilder, you were knocking out motherfuckers at 215, 220, 210, right? Why the fuck are you putting on weight? You've been knocking out motherfuckers at the weight you've been at your whole career. Why are you switching it up? That shows a little bit of insecurity on his part. But a lot of fighters make that mistake. They think, oh, if I come in bigger, my punches will be better. No, or stronger, or more devastating, or powerful. No, not the case. Same thing with Conor McGregor when he went up in weight and faced Nate Diaz. He thought that he was going to get more powerful. No, you're going to get more slower. And on top of that, Deontay Wilder and Conor McGregor, they're shredded up. They're cut up guys. They're not putting an ounce of fat on. That's all muscle. The more muscle you put on, the more oxygen you're going to need to supply those muscles, which means your cardio is going to have to ramp up. So it's no wonder why part of the reason he felt sluggish against Tyson Fury was he came in at a heavier weight that he was not accustomed to fighting at. Imagine going to the gym. You go to the gym every day, right? And then all of a sudden on Friday you decide to put a weighted vest on, a 20-pound weighted vest. Or say you do cardio all the time you go to the gym, right? You run on the treadmill, you do all these cardio exercises, and then all of a sudden one day you decide, I'm going to try doing cardio with a 20-pound vest on. Dude, it's going to wear your ass out. I don't care if you're in great shape. If you're not used to wearing that vest every single day at the gym, it's going to wear you the fuck down. But here's the funny thing. Deontay Wilder, supposedly, he's been training with a weighted vest, throughout the camp. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You put on more weight, that's like adding a body vest to you. You have to carry that in the ring. You're not going to get more powerful because you put weight on. Your punches aren't going to get powerful. Okay? If anything, it benefited Deontay Wilder being at the weight he's at because he's more explosive, more quick-twitched, more quick-twitch muscle fibers. I'd rather take speed than bulk and muscle because I think it may make me more powerful. So it's no wonder why he was fatigued. Then Tyson Fury came in at a bigger weight. But here's the thing. Tyson Fury's used to walking around over 300 pounds at times. He's used to coming in to the boxing ring at the weight he came in against Deontay Wilder. And then he's putting all that fucking weight on Deontay Wilder's small frame, little skinny torso, and it's wearing him down. He's cutting off the ring. He's backing him up. That's another thing people don't understand. Fighting off the back foot is exhausting. It's your cardio. It's a lot easier on your cardio when you're putting pressure on your opponent, cutting off the ring, than, say, constantly having to back up. That takes a certain amount of energy. And he just got outboxed. I don't get how people don't see it. He got fucked up because he went in against a better mind and a better boxer. Plain and simple. It ain't cheating. And you'll see, if there's a third fight, you're going to see the same motherfucking thing, if not worse. And if anything, this kind of helps Deontay Wilder. He gets to work on his style a little bit more. Who knows? Maybe he'll take a fight before and get to implement what he's been doing with his new trainer. It may work. It may not. But if anything, this benefits Deontay Wilder. He gets to recover. He gets to kind of build more confidence, more rapport with his trainer. And who knows? He may be able to take another fight. With Tyson Fury... Now, yeah, it would look bad if he does not take a third fight, but I find that hard to believe that he won't. Too much money involved, and I think him being called out by many people, them saying he cheated, I think he wants to prove to everybody that it wasn't a fluke, and it wasn't due to cheating. But, Tyson Fury... he's the better boxer, man. And I'll say this. I do think that Tyson Fury likes to keep his glove loosely on his hand. Okay? And why does he do that? Well, one, he likes to flick his jab at times, right? There's not one way to throw a fucking jab. For that matter, there's not one way to throw a jab across, a hook, a uppercut. There's so many different variations, right? Especially with the jab. You can turn it over, do the traditional jab, stiff, hard, upright, turn it over, close on contact. You know, you can throw it vertically. You see Manny Pacquiao throw a lot of vertical jabs. You know, you can throw up jab. You know, you're in a crouched position. You throw a jab up. There's many different variations. And one of the variations that Tyson Fury utilizes is the flicking jab. It's almost you keep your palm loose in the glove and you just flick it at your opponent. And it's a very, you don't see too many boxers do it today, but it's something that Muhammad Ali used to do. He used to keep an open hand and he would just flick that fucking glove at you. And I have a trainer who has a very, you know, kind of that loosey goosey style, and he'll keep open palms at times, kind of a slapping style. And he'll flick that jab on me, and bro, it's. I mean, obviously, it's not gonna knock you out, but it's very disorienting because what it does is that leather it snaps in your face, it snaps in your eye most of the time, and when that happens, you get a piece of glove in your eye, and you start getting congested, and your eyes start watering. That's very overwhelming. That's very effective. Think about that. If you get a piece of glove in your eye and you start getting congested, and you know your eyes start getting watery, and you're kind of blind for a second, you're literally fighting blind. Or you're trying to fight. It's like almost like getting mud on your windshield, and you're trying to wipe it off with the windshield wipers, right? It takes a while to fucking clear the view. It's a very nice way to kind of disorient your opponent. But furthermore, it's doesn't expend much energy. It's a quick jab. It's more utilized for speed, and go watch Muhammad Ali. He does the same thing. He'll keep an open palm and he'll flick it out there. Also for the hook, you know I know Muhammad Ali did the once again same thing. I'm sure Tyson Fury was heavily. I mean, obviously he was heavily influenced by Muhammad Ali, and you know he'll throw that hook, you know, and kind of slap it with an open palm at times. And what is that? It's kind of like a throwaway hook, or kind of like a check hook, or a nice, you know, kind of distractor, right? And you saw in that fight, Tyson Fury would throw that slapping hook almost to corral Deontay Wilder's head into the cross. Okay, so you know, I believe that. I do believe that Tyson Fury loosens up his glove, and sometimes he likes a loose fit in there. Now, does he like to, you know, sneak his gauze through the laces? Maybe, but I mean, I don't. I'm not gonna read too much into that because, you know, every veteran has their little wily moves. You know, if you're gonna call Tyson Fury out for doing cheap little shit like that, then call out Mayweather, call out Bernard Hopkins. You know, because or Andre Ward. I love Andre. I love all those fighters I just mentioned, but they all have their little dirty tactics. You know, to gain an edge, or maybe to get even, or maybe they're trying to survive through a round, right? Because they got buzzed. They all got their little dirty tricks, and most good professionals have to have a few dirty tricks up their sleeve to survive. I mean, it's the fight game at the end of the day. But I don't think there's something extraordinarily nefarious going on here. I really don't. You just watch the technical aspect of the second fight, and you clearly can see that Tyson Fury outboxed Wilder. He pushed him on the back foot constantly, you know, put pressure, cut off the ring, threw punches to the body, feinted Deontay Wilder, established his jab, and just ate him up, chewed him up. And here's one of the biggest adjustments, because you hear I remember listening to Deontay Wilder in an interview, or I think it was even the first fight. He was saying I couldn't throw my right hand. It was like it was frozen. It's just like I couldn't throw my right hand. And this could right there, that tells me there's a level of ignorance in terms of his boxing IQ. That being Deontay Wilder, because I know what that is, and what that is Deontay Wilder couldn't target Tyson Fury. He couldn't find the distance. You know, Tyson Fury was not there to be hit. He wasn't there. You know, because he understands defense. He understands timing. He understands distance. And when you're going up against a good defensive fighter, sometimes you freeze. Not because you're scared or anything like that. You just freeze because there. If you don't have the tools to create openings or find ways to land punches, the you're literally throwing punches on air and you're just putting yourself up to get countered. So it wasn't a gypsy spell that froze him from throwing his right hand. It was just Tyson Fury wasn't there. Defensively, he was responsible and he wasn't there to be hit. And one of the biggest adjustments Tyson Fury made in that second fight that really fucked Deontay Wilder was his ability. Tyson Fury, the first fight, and this is the reason he got knocked down multiple times with that right cross or that right hand. It was because he would lower his level, bend down at the waist, lower his level, stay stationary, and he would try to duck under that cross. But essentially what he was doing was he was exposing himself to that cross. And he was being subject to all the power. All Deontay Wilder had to do was come down with that cross right to the temple of Tyson Fury. And then one of the adjustments he made, and especially Tyson Fury being the bigger guy, why would you want to lower yourself down to the smaller fighters' level, right? Why would you want to lower your level to where you're giving him the availability to land punches against you? Use your height, use your range. And you saw the adjustment in the second fight. Instead of lowering his level and bending down at the waist and staying stationary to try to duck under that cross, what Tyson Fury did was he would jump out of range. He would jump out of range. He would extend his arms to make sure he fenced Deontay Wilder away from him and to keep the distance. And he would kind of roll with the right hand. So he would jump out of range, use his arms to create an extension between him and Deontay Wilder, and then roll with the right hand. And every time Deontay Wilder tried to throw that nasty right cross, he could never really land it. And it was a brilliant adaptation by Tyson Fury. And essentially Tyson Fury took everything away from him. He had nothing left, nothing to utilize in that fight, no tools. And that's why he got fucked up. It wasn't because the glove was altered. It doesn't matter. Fighters pull out of fucking fights all the time, or they postpone them. Now, did he get hurt in sparring? Get dazed or knocked down or whatever the case may be? Maybe. Does he really have COVID? I don't fucking know. I will say this: my family took all the vaccines and they got COVID still. So just because he got the vaccine doesn't mean he can't get COVID. But like I said, if anything, this benefits Deontay Wilder. More time to train, more time to figure out this new style you're trying to implement. But I think the third fight's going to be roughly the same thing. It's going to be an ass whooping. And then what's the excuse? Tyson Fury is a better boxer. I'm sorry, folks. I know that some people that love Deontay Wilder, are viewing this whole thing through the scope of race. But I'm sorry. Tyson Fury's the better boxer. Who cares if he's fucking white? Who cares? He's just a better boxer, plain and simple. And I don't think he cheated. I don't think the gloves were tampered with. Does he kind of keep his hands loose within the glove? Yeah, probably. He's probably done it throughout his whole life. But I really don't think it makes the biggest difference. I think that's like a comfort thing. If you can use it, great. Nice little tool I can throw in my bag. But if the ref, is like, hey, make sure your hands all the way in the glove, I don't think it's going to change the result of the third fight. So, yeah, man, this whole thing with Tyson Fury cheating, it's just ridiculous. And maybe I would entertain it a little bit more if Deontay Wilder didn't make so many fucking excuses that were so just like out of left field. Just makes you question if he's mentally stable right now. But yeah, that's my opinion, man. I know some of you ain't gonna like it, but I'd like to know y'all's opinion. Comment down below. Do you think Tyson Fury cheated or not? How you think the rematch is gonna go down? Do you think they'll fight each other uh, immediately after this postponed date, or will they take on somebody else? Look, man, subscribe, like the video. No hating. Don't thumbs down. Don't need to do all that negative shit. I'm just starting this channel, trying to figure shit out. I know the quality ain't great, but this is just me talking, man. It's 100. It's not fake. It's not edited. That's the way I'm gonna do this. So if you want to be part of the journey, man, join me. Subscribe. Until another one, get at me.